Hello everyone, in this video we are going to look into how to grade forms. In Google Forms there are two ways to grade it. One is auto grading, where a student or a user will just simply fill in the answers and whatever marks they have actually scored will be returned as usual. Or there is another manual mode where a teacher can actually go through all of the questions, right, and manually grade them based on. So we'll look into both of them individually. So let us first go to our Google Forms. So we'll type in Google Forms, let enter. As usual, it will require sign in, so we'll do that. Right, and it has given us a default form with the basic templates and everything. So I've made a video on how to make a Google form, so I'll just directly skip on and make a Google form and come back again. So here I've made a very simple Google form. All of them are MCQs and selective type of questions, so a total of 4 questions have been given in here. Now to go through the grading process, what we have to do, we have to go to the settings part. And here there is an option called as a quizzes. Now this is important for grading purposes. Now we will make it as a quiz that will allow us to assign marks to different questions, right? So here certain options are given. Immediately after each submission, release grade, that is once a person has finished submitting the form, what we want to do with the grades. Do we want to submit provide them with the grades immediately, or do we want to do the grading process manually and later on give them the grades? So we'll just go through immediately after each submission. And what it will does, you don't have to be involved in the grading process. The Google will by default grade all the questions based on the answer that you have provided, and it will just simply hand over the marks to each and every student. That is how it's going to work. So we'll just simply save it and we'll look into it later on. Now when I come to this particular question, now you can see we have a new option called as an answer key. So now let us click on it, and obviously there is a 0 points assigned to it. One of the important things for auto grading, that is the option that we selected, where a user will just simply get the points just after submitting their form or responses, and this method is called as a kind of an auto grading the form. So for this we have to provide an answer key. So we'll provide the answer key. So the correct answer for this is it's an interpreted, and here we can assign points, so maybe 2 points, right? And then we'll just simply write, we'll just simply press on done, it will work. Or if you want, you can also provide a feedback answer. So we'll just press done. The same thing will be repeated in here also. Now valid identifiers in Python, so this one, and we will again press on the answer key. We'll select this one and this one. So these are 2 valid identifiers. Again we'll put 2 marks in it and we'll press done. The same goes for this question, and we'll repeat the process, right? So as you can see, in each and every question there is a green tick around it, and obviously points has also been assigned to it. So now a total on here you can see a total of 8 points, so it's similar to 8 marks or something has been assigned to it. So the later process of actually sending your form to the user has also been shown in that previous video, where I talked about how to create a form and how to collect the responses and all of these stuff. So we'll just simply send it to, right? So I'll just open up the form in a new tab. Let us see how it looks. So now as we have not enabled email collecting option, so it's not gonna give us. So what we are gonna do, this is the form that the student is gonna find. This is how it's gonna look. The questions along with the points and everything will be given, right? So we'll just simply answer it. So maybe this one is compiled, this one is this and this, then we can have this one and this one. So we are just randomly answering them. So after that we'll just simply submit it, right? After submitting, now we have an option that is view score, which is not present if your form is not of a quiz type. The grading is not enabled in here, right? So we'll just simply press on view score. So here it is given a feedback that okay, I have secured 4 out of 8. So the first question is wrong because the answer should be interpreted. I've checked compiler. So in this case it is correct, this is also correct, but this question is again wrong, it should be yes, right? In this way a feedback will be given to your student. So this is the process of auto grading a form, where the system will check the form by itself. You don't have to be involved in the grading process. The only thing is that you have to enable the quiz option. And you have to provide correct answer key and points to each and every question, and only then it's gonna work. Now let us look into this later after manual review. We will just enable this because earlier we saw this immediately after each submission, but imagine all of your questions are not of MCQ type. Some of them are subjective questions where you have to go through it. That is the questions of paragraph type. So you have to go through it manually and you have to check it. So in that scenario, later after manual review is the option for us. So we'll just save it. We'll add a new subjective question in here. It has by default choose paragraph. So again, we cannot assign any answer key to it, but yes, I can assign points to it. So I'll just assign point maybe 2, right, and we'll press done. So that's why it is not taking an answer key. So now if I repeat the process, I'll open up the form. Now I have to submit the email ID. So we'll just submit our email ID and we'll start filling the answer. And in this point we don't have an MCQ type, so we'll just key in our answer, right, and whatever answer is correct the student will actually type in there, and then they will just simply submit it. Now you can see there is no view response and grading option that we got from the earlier, where the student can actually see their score. This option is not enabled in here. Why? Because it's a manual grading process. So now if we go to our response, right, so I have two responses. One was auto graded, another was for manual grading. So the details and everything has been given. So we'll just press on the one that is being submitted for manual grading. So here everything is given, so we will just assign points. So those questions which can be auto evaluated are being evaluated in here by default. The system will do it. So now we can see the answer that has actually been provided by our students, our user. So what we are going to do, we are going to grade it. So we'll just increase the marks in here. So we'll just assign full marks to it, right, and then we will save it. And after that we have actually assigned the marks, that is all the questions have been assigned some sort of a marking. So 2 out of 2 has been assigned, and then we will actually release the score. Now that particular person whose email ID has been given, right, the marks will be given to them through email. They will get an email with the marks, and then if you want we can write some information to him like good job, something of that sort, and then we will send the email and release, right. And now if you go to our email ID, so now you can see in my email ID a message has been my scores have been released, where the name of the form is being given and the comment that I wrote good job is also being given, and also my grade, that is 10 out of 10 has been assigned to me, right. So this is how you can grade a form both in auto mode and as well as in manual mode. Now once the responses and everything has been collecting, we can also keep track of the response. That means that if we want to save all the grades that has been assigned to the student in an Excel format, we can go over to this particular icon. The green icon can be used. Now let us press on it. So it will create a spreadsheet where all our responses along with the date, the answers and the marks, everything will be stored in here. So just it will be fine. So demo form grading, so this was the name of the form along with the response keyword is there, right, and it will just simply create it. Or if you already have an existing form, then also you can link it. So we don't have it, so we are going to create one. So let us create it, and once the creation is done, it will take us to our Google Drive. Now this form is being actually stored in Google Drive, where all the details has been actually given, the timestamp, the email address, that is timestamp means when my user has actually filled in the form, along with the email address, and the score that was attained by that person, and the respective questions and their answers, everything is being given, right, and this is actually stored in our Google Drive. So if you go there, so if you go to our Google Drive, so in our Google Drive we can see the actual form, that is a demo for grading that we created, and this is the actual spreadsheet that has been linked with this demo grading form. So if I just simply click on it, so as you can see all the responses actually and their marks and everything has been actually stored in it. So that is how we can actually link a spreadsheet to an existing form. Now we can also delink it. So if we want, we can just simply remove the particular link. So here, if I want to just simply unlink the form, that is, I don't want to store all the grades and everything in a spreadsheet, so we can go to this vertical 3 dots, and there is an option for unlinking the form. Now when it will be useful, so imagine after you have created the form and you have actually linked a spreadsheet to it, but now you are going to make some changes. Now those changes will not be reflected in your form. So for that purposes, what we are going to do, we are going to unlink the form. Right, so that means all our responses will not be saved anywhere right now, and then after making the changes to our form, and then we can again link the form. Right, so we can create a new one. Right, we can just name it something different like grading 2, something of that sort, and we can just simply create it, and now the changes and everything will be reflected in the new grading form. So in our drive, this particular new grading 2 sheet has been linked to our form. I hope you liked the video. Do press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for watching.